Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jeva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktirivavati Nashtaki. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 1, verse 46 to 55. Text 46. Sukdev Goswami continued, O best of the Kuru dynasty, Kamsa was fiercely cruel and was actually a follower of Rakshasas. Therefore, he could be neither pacified nor terrified by the good instructions given by Vasudeva. He did not care about the results of sinful activities either in this life or in the next. Text 47. When Vasudev saw that Kamsa was determined to kill his sister Devaki, he thought to himself very deeply. Considering the imminent danger of death, he thought of another plan to stop Kamsa. Text 48. As long as he has intelligence and bodily strength, an intelligent person must try to avoid death. This is the duty of every embodied person. But if death cannot be avoided in spite of one's endeavors, a person facing death commits no offense. Text 49 and 50. Vasudev considered, by delivering all my son to Kamsa, who is death personified, I shall save the life of Devaki. Perhaps Kamsa will die before my sons take birth, or since he is already destined to die at the hands of my son. One of my sons may kill him. For the time being, let me promise to hand over my sons so that Kamsa will give up this immediate threat. And if in due course of time Kamsa dies, I shall have nothing to fear. Text 51. When a fire, for some unseen reason, leaps over one piece of wood and sets fire to the next, the reason is destiny. Similarly, when a living being accepts one kind of body and leaves aside another, there is no other reason than unseen destiny. Text 52. After thus considering the matter as far as his knowledge would allow, Vasudev submitted his proposal to the sinful Kamsa with great respect. Text 53. Vasudev's mind was full of anxiety because his wife was facing danger. But in order to please the cruel, shameless, and sinful Kamsa, he extremely smiled and spoke to him as follows. Text 54. Vasudev said, O best of the sower, you have nothing to fear from your sister, Devki. Because of what you have heard from the unseen omen, the cause of death will be her sons. Therefore, I promise that when she gives birth to the sons from whom your fear has arisen, I shall deliver them all unto your hands. Text 55. Srila Sukadev Goswami continued. Kamsa agreed to the logical arguments of Vasudev and having full faith in Vasudeva's words, he refrained from killing his sister. Vasudev, being pleased with Kamsa, pacified him further and entered his own house. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Shivani Mataji, for reading today's Bhagavatam section, Slokas translations. And thank you all for joining. And thank you, Sundarananda Prabhu, for giving this opportunity to share a few points from today's Srimad Bhagavatam section, Slokas purports of Srila Prabhupada for my own purification. So we'll start with prayers. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पश्चात्तदेशतारिणे जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 1, The Advent of Lord Krishna, Introduction. So we completed ninth canto and now we entered into the 10th canto. And this 10th canto, in this 10th canto, the predominating subject matter is Ashraya, the supreme shelter of Lord Krishna. As you most of you all know that Bhagavatam talks about 10 topics. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshnam mutaya manvantara ishanukata nirodha mukti rashraya. So the primary creation sarga and visarga, the secondary creation sthanam, the position of living entities in various planetary systems, like that. Manvantara ishanukata. So in the last canto, Sukadeva Goswami predominantly talks about the Ishanukata. And also last canto represents the throat of Supreme Lord Krishna. We consider the Bhagavatam as the personification of Supreme Lord Krishna. So the ninth canto is the throat of Lord Krishna. And Sukadeva Goswami in the ninth canto described the predominating subject matter as Ishanukata, going through the various devotees' pastimes and wonderful devotional activities in the Sun dynasty and Moon dynasty, and also the Lord's incarnation in both the dynasties. Like in the Sun dynasty, we heard about the prominent kings like Sudyumna, Amrish Maharaj, Sagara Maharaj, Ikshvaku. And in that dynasty, we also heard Lord Ramachandra appear. And in the Moon dynasty, we heard about Pururava, Ayati, Edu Maharaj. And also we heard in the last chapter of 9th canto as Lord Krishna appeared in that dynasty. And in our glorious dynasty, maybe Sukadeva Goswami says that none of the kings are forever enjoyed their opulence, because this material world is temporary, ashashvata. So that's why he stresses that only the bhakti that we do with a sincere heart, that will be eternal asset, and that will come with us all the time. So in the 10th canto, it represents the beautiful lotus face of the Supreme Lord Krishna. And it talks about as mentioned, the subject matter of Ashraya. And Sukadeva Goswami describes the appearance and the pastimes of the Supreme Lord Krishna. And of course his pastimes in Vrindavana, Madhura, Dwarka, Hastinapura, and many other places. So and also it talks about Krishna's reciprocation with his loving devotees, and his compassion delivering those who are inimical to him also, like that. So starting with this first chapter, of course so far we heard like how Parikshit Maharaj is very eager to hear Supreme Lord Krishna's appearance and pastimes. So he asked many questions like what did Krishna, why did Krishna transfer himself from Madhura to Vrindavana? How did he live there? And what did Krishna do in Madhura or Vrindavana? Why did he kill his maternal uncle Kamsa? So like that there are many questions he asked. And Sukadeva Goswami started narrating Krishna's appearance, saying that when Mother Earth was overburdened and she approached to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma along with many other demigods, they went to the shore of the Milk Ocean, and then they offered the wonderful prayers, and then Lord Vishnu inspired or gave the message to Lord Brahma within his heart. And according to that, Lord Brahma mentioned to all the demigods that Krishna will appear, and you also along with your wives appear as the associates of Lord Krishna in the Yadu family, like that. And then Sukadeva Goswami talks about the Krishna's appearance, like how Vasudeva, after marrying Devaki, he was returning home, and Kamsa is driving his charioteer as he loves his sister Devaki. So then comes a heard the unseen voice that Devaki's eighth son will kill him, like that. So then immediately comes a ready to kill Devaki. But Vasudeva, we heard in the last section how diplomatically he began to instruct, it's not good to kill your younger sister, especially at the time of marriage. And also, he talks about how everyone will be leaving the body in this material world, no one is permanent. So, like that, so he narrated, he instructed many things, Kamsa is determined to kill. He didn't inspired to um, withdraw from killing of Devaki. So we'll today we'll go through that section starting from 46 to 55 slokas. 46 to 55. So in the 46th sloka, we see that Sukadeva Goswami is mentioning that Kamsa is a fiercely cruel and actually follower of the Rakshas. Purushadan, Purushadan means the Rakshas or the man-eaters. And Kamsa is the follower, Anuvrataha. So he is the follower. And also very cruel. It's mentioned here, Darunaha. So that's why we see in the later part also like how Kamsa not only present Mother Devaki and Vasudeva, also he present his father Ugrasena, and he also did not hesitate to kill Devaki's 6 children as soon as they were born. And also when Krishna appeared and on the instruction of Krishna, and when Vasudeva took Krishna to Gokula and brought the baby girl that Mother Yashoda delivered, and then Kamsa came to see and he saw the baby girl, and Devaki prayed to Kamsa that this is the baby girl, there is no harm for him, so don't kill like that. But he did not listen. So he attempted to dash her, that baby girl, to the stone mercilessly. Prabhupada mentions in one of the purport that that's a cruel, graphical example of a cruel demon. How one can sacrifice all the relationships for the sake of personal gratification. So these kind of people, obviously, they don't care of the results of their sinful activities, whether in this life or next life. So because their aim is only one, to indulge in sense gratification, even at the cost of other suffering. So that's why they exploit as much as they can others. They exploit others for their own sense gratification. So it's that's why it is always advised to be in the association of the devotees rather than the people who are not practicing, because there could be many people who tries to fulfill their sense gratification with the cost of others suffering. So in the 47th sloka, now Vasudeva sees that Kamsa is determined to kill his sister Devaki. So that's why he thought of another plan to stop Krishna. And Prabhupada mentions that Vasudeva understands that so he will not be harmed because when Vasudeva took birth, so the demigods they played drums and kettle drums, so which is an indication that he will not die untimely manner, like that. But here Vasudeva sees that there is a threat to his wife Devaki. So that's why he wanted to save her. So because for that, so he tried his best to stop, but he didn't. So now Vasudeva thought of another plan. So we see that a sincere devotee who is progress in the path of bhakti, Krishna gives intelligence. So how Krishna gave intelligence here to Vasudeva for protecting Devaki from the clutches of Kamsa. So similarly, if a sadhaka so becomes a sincere and serious in this process of bhakti, of course I am talking to myself, and Krishna would give that intelligence where we can be protected from the clutches of Maya, and we can come out from the cycle of this miserable suffering, birth and death. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Dadami buddhi yogam tam enamam upayanti te, like. So he will give that understanding. By that, one can go back home, back to Godhead, and uh, come out from the cycle of birth and death. So in the 40th sloka, so Vasudeva thinking that, as long as one has intelligence and bodily strength, so he should try to avoid death. And Prabhupada also mentions in the purport that so it's a natural for any person facing untimely death. So he will try his best to save himself. That's why we see in the hospitals also. So when somebody is at the verge of death, they request doctors, to save themselves, and ready to pay a huge amount of money also like that. And Prabhupada mentions that here we see that if death cannot be avoided in spite of one's endeavor, they should commit no offense. Prabhupada mentions that death is sure in this material world. So that's why one business that will not go bankrupt is anything related to the final rights. The any items that are related to the final rated items. So that business will never go bankrupt because everyone has to leave the body. So though it is sure, Prabhupada says that one should try as best as can they to avoid it, because um, the living entities by nature is eternal, sat, eternal. So that is the base of our Vedic culture also. The Vedic culture is based on how to avoid the death. Tatta deham punarjanma naiti mameti so arjuna. Like then he says that one should avoid this again birth and death, that cycle of birth and death like that. So how we can do that? By cultivating this spiritual life. So by of course in this Kali Yuga, by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So that is the intelligence. So if one is not intelligent, then they'll continue. They will not take up this process of Krishna consciousness, and they will continue the birth and death. But one who is intelligent, so Ignai Sanke, the intelligent persons, they will take this Sankirtana Yajna, chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So similarly here also Vasudeva considered another way to save Devaki from the hands of Kamsa like that. So in the next two slokas 49-50, so Vasudeva is still considering, saying that so what approach or what plan he should go. Like he's saying that he's thinking like then he will deliver all his sons to Kamsa, who is death personified, to save Devaki's life. Because there are other things also his thought process or his thinking like that, Kamsa may die before his sons take birth, and who knows that they may not have any kids also. So because it's possible in some cases we see that how hard they try, they may not get any sons or daughters also. And here we see that even if a son is born, if Kamsa is destined to be died or killed in the hands of his son, then it will happen. So one of his sons may kill him, right? So that's what he was thinking like that. So that's why he thought, for the time being, let me promise to hand over all my sons to Kamsa, so that he can come out from this immediate threat. And in due course of time, Kamsa dies, then there is nothing to fear like that. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that by the providence anything can happen. So Kamsa may die before his sons take birth, or he may not have any sons, or as the unseen voice mentioned, he will be killed in the hands of one of his sons like that. So it's very difficult to understand how the things are managed by the providence. And Krishna also mentions in Bhagavad Gita, right? Gahana karmano gatihi, like it's very difficult to understand the intricacies of karma or the laws of nature. So we see that the great example like Dhritarashtra Maharaj, he did one sinful activities to compensate that or to get the good credit to compensate that one sinful activity, he has to go through 50 lives. So then only he could able to compensate and he could able to um, relieved from that sinful reaction by going through that suffering, like born with blind, and while he was alive all his 100 sons were killed, so much suffering. So but we don't know like when the sinful activity that we performed will act, so it will come in this life or it will come in the future lives, like that. So everything is under the supervision of the uh, higher personality, like divine nature. uh, Karmana daiva netrena. So that's why in this material world, there is nothing guarantee. Padam padam yathi padam. Every step there is a danger. So we don't know how long one will be living in this current body. Because we hear that many accidents happening, like whether it's car accidents, train accident, flight accident, like that. So that's why our acharyas or scriptures stresses to utilize this valuable human form of life while we are in this body, present body, for the best purpose. So the best purpose is to chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and break this cycle of birth and go back home, back to Godhead. So that's why Vasudeva is thinking here to come out from this imminent danger of death towards Devaki. So he was thinking to deliver all his sons. And he is also thinking here that so when a fire, for some unreason, it leaps over one piece to other wood and sets fire to the next. The reason is destiny. So even though one piece is fire, wood is and the fire, but that fire is moving to the next fire. So and Prabhupada also gives like when there is a forest fire, sometimes the fire jumps from one tree to another, and sometimes that fire may not impact the tree which is closer, but it may impact a tree which is very far away. So how can we explain this except that this is a unseen destiny? So karmana daiva netrena, like that. Adristaha, unseen destiny. So similarly, so a living entity also, so he will go through accepts one kind of body and lives aside another body. So there is no other reason than unseen destiny. So that's what here also thinking, like a living entity, so going through from one body to another body. Prabhupada mentions that if a living entity in this life he may be prime minister, but in the next life due to his activities either in this life or the previous life he may become a dog. So but how can we explain that? That is all unseen destiny, or the activities that we have done in the past life, which has been um, supervised by the supreme providence, like that. So in the next sloka 52, after thus considering matter as far his knowledge would allow, Vasudeva submitted this proposal to the sinful Kamsa with great respect. So how Vasudeva tried as best as to save Mother Devaki from the clutches of Kamsa. So Acharyas also advise us to try as best as we can to save ourselves from the clutches of Maya, or from the repeated cycle of birth and death. So that for that we should try as best as to perform our devotional service, Bhakti Yoga. And in the next sloka, so Vasudeva, here we see that his position. So his mind is full of anxiety because he is in a very challenging situation where his wife is facing danger. But in order to please the cruel or sinful Kamsa, so he externally smiled and spoke to him in the below way, like. And Prabhupada mentions that in the purport that the Vasudeva's mind is full of anxiety, but he spoke externally, he smiled, prasanna vadanam bhuja, like that. So it is a duplicity, like that. The Prabhupada mentions that sometime one must act duplicitly in a dangerous position, as Vasudeva did to save the life of his wife. Because this material world is very complicated. to execute one's duty, one sometimes adopt the diplomacy like that. And here we see that Vasudeva did everything possible to save his wife for the sake of begetting Krishna, the Supreme Lord Krishna, as their son. So Prabhupada stresses here that for the purpose of saving devotees or the Krishna's, Supreme Lord Krishna's interest, so then one can act duplicity like that. How Vasudeva tried here. So similarly, so a devotee for the purpose of um, progressing this Krishna conscious movement, so one can try as best as they can, so that he can inspire the conditioned living entity in this material world, and then bring them at the lotus feet of Krishna. So, and Prabhupada says that devotees are not idle; they work as best as they can for the mission of the Supreme Lord. It's like how Arjuna tried as best as he can to fulfill the desire of Supreme Lord Krishna and fought very aggressively in the Kurukshetra war. So similarly, devotees also should try as best as they can to practice this Krishna conscious process to come out from the or fight with against the Maya and go back home, back to Godhead. And the next sloka, so Vasudeva here putting the proposal to the Kamsa, saying that to Kamsa that there is nothing to fear from the his sister Devaki, because what the unseen voice mentioned is the cause of death is from her sons, not from his sister Devaki. So that's why here Vasudeva is promising that as soon as the sons are born, then he will hand over it to him. So he will deliver it to them. So then there is no fear to him like that. And Prabhupada mentions that Kamsa is feared and he is ready to kill Devaki because he heard the Devaki's 8 sons will kill him. So that's why here Vasudeva gave the most liberal option or proposition to Kamsa, that he will deliver all the sons, not only the 8 sons, but he will deliver all the sons. So the last sloka for today, Sukadeva Goswami is saying here, continuing that Kamsa agreed to this proposal. One reason is he has a full faith in Vasudeva's words. So that's why he stopped from the activity of killing his sister. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that we see the wonderful character of a great devotee here, like, you know. So Kamsa, though he's a demonic personality, very sinful personality, cruel, but he believed the words of the Vasudeva, because he knows that Vasudeva will never deviate from the words that he has given. So that is the character of a pure devotee. And Prabhupada also quotes a pure devotee will have all the good qualities. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunais tatra samasate suraha. Prabhupada quotes this Bhagavatam sloka saying that so when one becomes fully Krishna consciousness, then all the demigods or their exalted qualities such as religion, knowledge or renunciation, everything manifest in the body of this pure devotee, because he has developed unalloyed devotion of the at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So similarly, a sadhaka, one who is progressing in the path of bhakti, and because of their Krishna consciousness practice, all their sinful reactions will be destroyed. Karmani nirdahati cha kintu bhakti bhajam. So their sinful reactions will be destroyed and their anarthas will be gone. Nastaprayesha bhadreshu. That anarthas will go away, and then when all the bad qualities will go away, then our good qualities will uprise. So it will rise. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentions the 26 good qualities of a Vaishnava. Like he is a very kind to everyone. He doesn't make anyone as his enemy. He is truthful like that. So here also Kamsa sees that Vasudeva is truthful. So whatever the word he has given, he will fulfill it. So that's why this is also very nice to see that if we be in the association of the devotees, then we are in the safe situation, safe boat. We are in the safe environment, because the devotees always likes to help or serve as best as they can to others, and at least they don't do any harm or cheat to others when we compare to the non-devotees in general. So that's why we being in the association of the devotees, so we are very safe and secure like that, because the devotees good qualities uprising it. And that we see in many wonderful devotees that are mentioned in the scriptures, or of course we see from the devotees that are surrendered us like that. Like when Murugari, he was killing animals half dead, but when he became a wonderful devotee, he doesn't want to harm even a ant also. So that much good qualities uprise, that much compassion will develop. So like Dhruva Maharaj also, like initially had ill intentions toward his stepmother, because she spoke very harshly. But when he went through the process of bhakti, then all that enmity or ill intentions towards her stepmother, so everything will gone away like that. So that's why Bhagavatam says that as one progress in the path of bhakti, all their good qualities will rise. But if not, then harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manoratena asati dhavato bahi. Like if one is not in the process of bhakti, then where is the chance of having the good qualities? So that's why let's push ourselves to be in the association of devotees always, and also practice this wonderful, great, precious gift that Srila Prabhupada gave to all of us, the chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, sincerely and seriously, because I'm talking to myself. So then we can also see all the good qualities will manifest in us, and we become peaceful and calm, and then experience the unlimited bliss like that. So I'll pause it here. Thank you all for joining. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Panchakalpatarupyascha Kripasindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhya Vaishnavasya Namo. Hare Krishna.
Thank, thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for very beautiful class.
Thank you,
Thank you
Prabhuji.
all devotees for joining the class today.